This UFC fight at the White House that Donald Trump has been talking about is a complete disaster. It's set to take place on June 14th. That's Donald Trump's birthday. Donald Trump turns 80. He claims that it's part of a celebration of America's 250th birthday. But already you see this event completely falling apart. When Donald Trump announced there was going to be a UFC fight in front of the White House over a year ago, he said there were going to be 20, 30, 40,000 UFC fans who are going to be there at the White House. Well, now we're learning it's going to be 4,300 individuals at the White House, and all of those so-called tickets are going to be comped. It's going to be members of our military that Donald Trump is using as props, and he's putting these military members around the octagon, and they're going to be the crowd. It's going to be 4,300 military members. And then they said, well, other people can watch from the ellipse for free. And so they're going to, I guess, try to count just general tourists who are there in Washington, D.C., who can watch for free from the ellipse. But in terms of the actual attendance, we're talking about 4,300 people. Now, Donald Trump held an entire press conference in the Oval Office yesterday about this UFC fight, and he showed the AI renderings of what the stadium is going to look like, and it's not a stadium at all. It looks like a small amount of bleachers. I mean, take a look right here. And, you know, that's going to be the 4,300 members of the military. One of the things we're seeing is Donald Trump's actually significantly harming ticket sales of UFC in general as well. I mean, the last UFC 327 in Miami, that's the one that took place while the war in Iran was raging, and Donald Trump was there and Marco Rubio was there, and there were supposed to be negotiations happening with Iran, like Donald Trump says all of the time. And Rubio was like throwing signs up, and Donald Trump was telling the UFC male fighters how handsome and strong and how attracted he was to them. I'll show you that in a second. I have the receipts. You're like, Ben, what are you talking about? But the ticket sales were horrible. Just, folks, show the B-roll of what the ticket sales looked like at UFC 327. You see so many empty seats right there. And then when you look at UFC 328, which is the UFC that's going to be taking place before this White House event, look at the Prudential Center in New Jersey. There are so many seats available right now, and this is pretty unprecedented for the UFC. Yeah, this fight that's coming up this weekend, May 9th, has so many empty seats as well. And there's just massive backlash to the UFC right now because Donald Trump has perverted it. He's turned it into this like weird political YMCA dancing thing. And people are like, yo, we just want to watch the fight, man. Could we not have some political propaganda thing? And Dana White has turned it into this like weirdo propaganda fest. And this whole UFC thing is, again, another thing that Donald Trump touched and is causing significant harm to as well. So let me just show you this interview, because, you know, Fox, state regime media, they're trying to like do everything they can to promote this UFC fight. Like, just think about it, folks. Americans are struggling right now, living paycheck to paycheck if they're lucky enough to get a paycheck, psychologically tortured, working multiple jobs just to try to make ends meet. And foreclosures are at record highs. People can't afford their rent. Healthcare is being ripped away. People can't afford gas. People can't afford groceries. People can't afford anything. And Trump is talking about UFC fights, golden ballrooms, triumphal arches, building more golf courses to demolish the public golf courses in DC. And so anyway, here you have on Fox, this is like, we're supposed to be excited about this while they cover up the Epstein files. By the way, we should be calling this UFC fight the Epstein fight, the Epstein class fight, the Epstein event, the perv event, right? That's what we really should be calling it. Anyway, so you have Lara Trump, Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, interviewed Dana White, and she's like, Dana, This is the hottest ticket in town. How is it the hottest ticket if you're giving away the 4,300 tickets for free? This is the hottest ticket in town, Dana. Where can people get them? And Dana White's like, well, actually, there's 4,300 of them, and we're going to give them to the military because your father-in-law says that they should go to the military, which really means that our military is going to be used as props, as part of some war propaganda, and that this is what this is going to be about. What are we even doing here? And this is on Donald Trump's 80th birthday. How freaking weird. But listen to what Dana White says. You can hear him for yourself. Let's play.
Everyone I know has asked me, has asked Eric, has asked the president, all of us, how do they get a ticket to this event? This is the hottest ticket in town. Now, I know that there are going to be a lot of service members, a lot of military personnel that you guys are giving a majority of tickets to, right?
Well, your father-in-law is. He wants this to be mostly for the military. So, there's going to be 4,300 people there. I just literally went over it right now. 4,300 people, and most of them will be military.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
As a thank you, right?
100%.
All right. So then I'll bring you into the Oval Office yesterday, where Donald Trump has the UFC fighters, and Donald Trump is fawning over these UFC fighters. Donald Trump, I'm giving you my opinion. I think that he's physically attracted to these men. Again, I'm just giving you my opinion as protected by the First Amendment. I'll give you some receipts. You're like, Ben, what are you talking about? At that failed UFC 327, when Donald Trump and Marco Rubio were there, Donald Trump went up to all the male fighters and he would grab their arms and he would touch their chest and he would say, "You're so handsome. You're so good looking." Don't believe me? Here, play this clip.
Thank you. Go do what you're doing. You're a beautiful guy. Great fighter. Thanks. Put me some more than you win this top fight. I'll give you a hundred. You look so good. You're too good looking to be a fighter. You are some fighter. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That's funny. Thank you, Mr. Trump.
By the way, I told you, I come with receipts on the MeidasTouch network. I don't make this stuff up. So anyway, I'll bring you to the Oval Office right now where these fighters are there. And Donald Trump does this whole press conference with the fighters. And one of the fighters are like, "Nobody believed in us. They called us animals." And Donald Trump's like, "Oh, you are an animal. You are an animal." Dude, what are we watching? What are we doing here? This is what's going on in the United States of America. What's going on for real? Here, play this clip.
How big of a part you were to the UFC coming on and becoming mainstream in the early 90s when nobody would let us and nobody believed in us and they thought we were just absolute animals. And you gave us a chance to fight in your property.
Well, they're right about that.
Well, yeah. Somewhat way. We just, I mean, it's truly an honor. It's awesome. It's your birthday. Awesome. It's Flag Day. Wonderful to represent this country. These guys aren't from this country, but I'm sure it's an honor for them as well. But I think we'd be 10 years behind if it wasn't for you. And so thank you for that.
Well, Justin, it's great being with you.
And then Donald Trump continues to promote the UFC fight. And Donald Trump's like, "I love when you take a pounding. You take such a good pounding. Keep taking pounding." What? Play this clip.
And a friend of mine, Justin Gaethje, who is just a fighter like you've never seen. You see the kind of pounding he'll take, and then all of a sudden it's over, and the other guy's not in good shape, right?
It's a crazy game.
Not in good shape. So these are the toughest people. These are the greatest fighters in the world. They're all champions, and they'll be fighting against very tough people also. And but I think you always go in thinking you're going to win.
Of course.
But they're fighting against. They're Olympians. They come from all over the world. Some come from extreme poverty. Some come from, not too many people come from Fifth Avenue for the most part. I would say Fifth Avenue is not well covered in this sport. But it's a special group of people with tremendous heart and really tremendous talent. And I really believe you're probably born with the punch, and you're born with an ability to take a punch too. I was talking to Dana White last night. He was talking about that. And some people can take a punch and some people can't. And in life, it's always good to be able to do that. And if you guys want to say anything, I don't want to pick out individual, but if you want to say anything, you could.
And then Donald Trump gets very touchy with the fighters. He's like touching their arms and touching their bodies in the Oval Office. This is weird. Here, play this clip.
Look at my guy back here.
I don't want to see
This is a warrior. This is a warrior.
What an honor. We wouldn't be here without you. We appreciate it. Oh, it's so fun.
So this is the Oval Office, and there's really nothing like it.
And then, by the way, they're mocking us in Russia right now. This is how RT is covering it. Don't fight that one, Donald Trump says. Don't fight that one. Here, play this clip.
Representatives they're making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money. Look at that guy over there. Don't fight that one right there. But do you have anything to say? How about you?
Me?
Manager?
Like Justin said, without President Trump, probably the UFC will be 20 years behind. He gave us the jump start from the beginning. And I think this is going to be the greatest sport event ever created on planet Earth. It's going to be the most watched sport event on planet.
And of course, Donald Trump attacks Pope Leo as part of this press conference with the UFC fighters about this failing event. Why wouldn't he attack Pope Leo? This is what Donald Trump, this is what the president of the United States does. Folks, can we get out of this idiocracy timeline and just have grown-ups in the White House behave like normal people? I truly don't know what the hell it is that we're watching. I don't even know how I can fathom that this video that I'm making is a real thing that no one else is calling out, but I have to call it out, right? I mean, I feel like I have a fiduciary obligation to show you what's happening. Play this clip.
And it's very simple. Whether I make them happy or I don't make them happy, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And he seemed to be saying that they can. And I say they cannot. Because if that happened, the entire world would be hostage, and we're not going to let that happen. That's my only message.
And then you have Alex Pereira thanking Donald Trump for this opportunity. And Donald Trump's like, ooh, you got a big hand. Your hand is so thick and so big. Watch what Donald Trump says. What are we watching? Here, play this clip.
On the White House, we know it's a special event that everybody would like to be present to make it feel special. Thank you.
Thank you. It's one of the greatest punches in the history of the business. I just shook his hand. He has a large hand. That's a powerful hand. It's they're very unusual people, born with great talent, and then they hone the talent.
And then they show this video. It doesn't get bigger than this. It doesn't get bigger than, this is so, it doesn't get bigger than this, everybody. Here, play this clip. And then right before that press conference, Donald Trump wanted everyone to know that when he talks about the sea and the ocean and water, when he talks about the sea, he doesn't mean the I type of sea. He means the water sea. Okay, Donald. Here, play this clip.
But the numbers are the numbers speak for themselves. If you really get down, you see drug traffic coming into our country is way down, and by ocean, by the water. A lot of people say, "What do you mean by sea? Is it sea like vision?" No, it's the SEA. But it's down 97%.
And of course, when DoorDash Lady arrived in the White House, when was DoorDash Lady? Like a month ago at the White House? Donald Trump invited DoorDash Lady. Maybe she'll get maybe DoorDash Lady will get a ticket as well, because he said, hey, we're having a fight on June 14th, DoorDash Lady, who magically appears at every MAGA Republican hearing. DoorDash Lady. She's the constant extra. They roll her out at all of these hearings. You want to show up at the match, DoorDash Lady? You could be DoorDash Lady. It could be who else do they have? The Black Chick-fil-A lady. She'll be there. Who else do they got? They got the Puerto Ricans and the Latinos at the at the bodega, who are all the young Republicans. Who else is Donald Trump? Who else is he going to bring? Who else is Donald Trump going to bring out to the UFC fight? The whole crew. Dan Bongino is going to be there. Who else is Donald Trump going to bring out to this thing? Oh my God. This is such. Here, do you see the clip of him talking to her? Here, play this clip.
I will say I've been involved with a lot of big events. I have never had an event that's had more interest in the UFC fight that we have right at the front door. Right there, they're going to start building about a 4,500 seat arena. And then in the back at the Ellipse, we're going to have maybe 100,000, 50 to 100,000 people. I guess they're building tremendous stages, and you're going to have massive screens of the fight. And it's a very popular sport. But I have never been involved, because of the White House and everything. There's a lot of reasons for it. But we're having a fight at the White House on June 14th, and we're going to have an arena built right at the front door.
Wow.
And if you want, is your husband up to coming? Do you think? Does he like UFC?
He might.
If he's feeling good, we'll make sure you come. Okay.
Anyway, such clownish behavior. I don't even want to. I'm speechless. Hit subscribe. I'll get to 7 million subscribers. Oh man, have a good one, everybody. New Meidas merch. Head to store.MeidasTouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.